Netherlands did, they separated drugs in two categories: the soft ones and the more risky ones, the unacceptable ones. The soft ones, they had this approach: it's better to tolerate and to treat it as have a health problem than to criminalize and put people who have health problem, because people who use drug are addicted, and put them in jail because it will not solve the problem. Yeah. How do you feel about Dutch policies concerning to drugs? Because they are really liberal.
Yeah, I think it's very liberal. It's quite nice that you can purchase drugs like legally here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's nice?
I mean, since it's legal, people don't have to do it illegally. So, it eradicates a lot of the black market drug dealing.
Okay, I kind of agree with Jose that it eradicates a lot of the black market of drugs and all. So the government can track who's doing, how many drugs are being taken, and yeah. But then I feel that since it is so liberal, in a way it is so easily accessible by everyone. So this actually kind of normalizes the intake of drugs. So it's more likely that people are addicted to drugs.
Do you think that makes people easier, and maybe they more? But have you seen a lot of addicteds here?
Actually, I haven't. Not yet. But maybe because I haven't exposed myself enough to
such. You think they are in places where you don't usually hang out?
Yeah.
For me, I think it's different from Singapore, because it's, in Singapore drugs are totally criminalized, and
alcohol as well?
No, alcohol is just expensive. Yeah, but drugs is a no-no in Singapore. So when I first came here and I saw coffee shops, it obviously was a shock. My system is different. But I think what the government does well here is that they decriminalize soft drugs here.
Yeah.
So only drugs like weed, I think, is accessible, and while the harder drugs like LSD and ecstasy probably might still be illegal. So I think that's a good move, but at the same time you don't know, like what she said, how addicted the people become to it, and how harmful drugs are on the body itself. So I guess there's pros and cons to this. Yeah.
But why do you think it's so different, the Singapore approach and the Dutch approach to drugs? Like, why do you think they behave in such different ways?
Well, I think it's culturally a very different environment. So first off, in Singapore, we are after all an Asian country with Asian values. So we tend to be more conservative in whatever we do as compared to maybe a Western country. So if you look at other things, like even like if you talk about LGBT or like other stuff like the red light district, here is obviously more liberal, and it's like anything goes. But in Singapore, we strive to regulate things that we think are not helpful to the body, or harmful. So for example, alcohol is taxed really high. Cigarettes are taxed really high as well.
You heard about Dutch policies concerning to drugs?
I think weed is legal, if I'm not wrong.
Weed is legal, yeah. There's a difference between soft drugs and hard drugs. How do you feel about that, since it's very different from Singapore policies?
I think Singapore also makes a distinction between soft drugs and hard drugs. But it's just that the penalties are much more severe. Yes.
And what do you think about Dutch policies and penalties being less severe?
There's no right or wrong answer. It's just how the government wants to run the country. Singapore simply just does not tolerate any form of hard drugs like cocaine. For example, we just view drugs as something that can be extremely destructive to the social and moral fabric of society. And that's why I think such harsh punishments are set in place for especially drug traffickers.
And do you have any opinion? Do you think Singapore should have a system like Dutch, more liberal?
No, I think Singapore's very well run. As in,
Well, off the top of my head, I know that when you have a certain amount of when you allow to a certain extent, um, it I know that there are papers that prove that there are lesser cases of addiction because people are able to get them moderately.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing in that sense. But then again, coming from Singapore, where it is there's a very strict there's a very strict clampdown on drugs. So like no drugs at all whatsoever, and it keeps Singaporean society undoubtedly very clean and harmonious, and you don't see any ruckus on the streets. So I think that works as well. So I've seen both sides of the coin.
Historically, why you see those difference between Dutch approach and Singaporean approach?
Yeah, because for Singapore, it's what has always worked, and they will continue to do it, right?
Do you see it as an evolution, the way Dutch approach works? Do you see as evolution, as one day maybe Singapore will be the same or not?
I've never thought about it, but I don't think even if it happens, I don't think it will happen in the near future.
Why?
Because in Singapore, it's very safe, you know.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very very safe. It's very clean, and the new generation, when we go out to other countries and we come back, we realize that that we may be criticized. There's a lot of talk about this online. There's a lot.
Death penalty and very polemical.
There's a lot of criticism. There was a lot of criticism in the past saying that Singapore is too authoritarian, is too the government is too dictatorial. But then we, the newer generations, I think, when we go out, we see the world, and then we come back, we bring back the knowledge that although Singapore is a very strict and strictly controlled society, it's very safe. It has its advantages, you know, and it's great to be able to go out on the streets and walk at 12 midnight and not worry about your safety, you know. So we bring back this knowledge that our society is a working one. Okay, even with all these rules that in the past people said were too strict and too overbearing, it's what keeps our society harmonious, and I think that's a reminder that we will keep close to heart. So that, and without a bottom up approach to wanting policy change, I don't think any policy change will happen.
Why do you think it's so different? Like the Dutch approach and the Singaporean approach, why do you think it's so different? Like one is very liberal and the other one is more about punishing.
I think because Singapore is a much tighter road to walk. Like Singapore has no natural resources. Its only resource is its people. It's trying to stay competitive on the world stage.
Yeah.
And it simply has no time to deal with these social problems that involve drugs.
So you think Dutch has more time, more resources to deal with drugs?
In a sense, yes, but also that their governing policy is different in that they want to afford more freedom to their people. So it's just a difference in philosophy. And
So you think it's okay to have less freedom?
as in, I don't take drugs, so it doesn't affect me. Like in Singapore, we are conditioned to not want to take drugs since young. And in a sense, I think that's a good thing. Some might disagree, but especially hard drugs. So not being able to take hard drugs is not much of deprivation of freedom for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think it's better there than here?
It's better there. As in, I think another reason for Singapore's strict drug laws is I read before from online. I think some people attribute it to a bit of like in history due to the opium wars in Asia. So yeah, it continue even now. We are more conservative against drugs and weed. Yeah, so there's another reason for strict drug laws. But I don't necessarily feel that it's good, because the penalty is very high. It's death. It's a death penalty for just having a small bit of weed and you die. So it's a bit too strict, I feel.
I think it's death penalties only if
Is
you
it
traffic, right?
above?
Yeah, it is above about like 30 grams or so, which is not a lot.
And do you think it's a proportional measure, like to have a death penalty to this such a action and behavior?
I definitely don't think that it is, because I think everyone deserves a second chance. But in a way, I think that it helps Singapore because it's kind of the middle of all these drug trafficking. Like it's a good place for people to bring in drugs in.
Okay, so do you think that Singapore should adopt like the Dutch approach?
I think it will be a very, very, very long time before Singapore actually completely legalize it. But maybe I feel that Singapore should relax its drug laws just slightly. Maybe do away with the death penalty, or maybe relax the laws on Singaporeans consuming drugs overseas at least. Yeah, that's what I feel personally.
Yeah.
For me, I think that I agree. It will take a super long time for it to be completely liberal. Okay, I'm contradicting myself here, but I said earlier that I actually am quite undecided about what Singapore should do. Like, should it remove the death penalty or it shouldn't? I think that it's good in a way because it's so strong. So, like...
So they really threaten people?
Yes, yeah. Death is the ultimate, right? So that is really scary compared to just money. So, yeah, I think it will be... I'm undecided.
Undecided, yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah, actually I know that recently, I can't remember how long ago, but like they now have an option of not having death penalty. So now they can just be jailed, but I think it's life sentence. Yeah. So like it's getting better, but maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what you said, it's gonna be a long time. If at all, if it even moves to that direction at all. I'm not sure if the society is ready for it yet, but I can see where you guys are coming from. So I think it's a double-edged sword. So like,
but do you feel like that? Do you feel like the Dutch would be like more evolution?
maybe it's more.
Do you see it like this?
It's more of a progressive society. I don't know, like. Yeah, at the same time, yes, they have a different mindset. Like, it's your own body, right? You can do what you want with it. But I think at the same time, I understand where the Singapore government is coming from. So like to have strict rules and everything on drugs, it serves as a deterrent. And again, this stops like social problems from developing. So yeah, it's pros and cons. But I'm not sure if like what you say, you treat them as a health problem instead of
Sick people.
yeah, so maybe it could be done that way. Yeah, maybe like what they said, take away the death penalty and put more support in place.
I feel that the Dutch culture with being very open with drugs is not better or than Singapore, or it's not worse. It's just a different culture, that's all. You can't really compare which culture is better. Yeah.
Talk more about comparison. Why do you think you cannot compare?
Because it's just what people from different cultures do. Like when you go to Japan, you see people are more quiet, or when you go to America, people are more talkative. But you can't really say which one is better. So in Singapore, people are more conservative about drugs. In Netherlands, people do drugs more. But it's just different culture, and I don't think which one is better or which one is worse. Yeah, so that's how I feel.